everybody. It's been a hot minute since I have been on here. Let me turn that screen brightness down so that we don't get the old reflections on the glasses. Bane of my life, being a content creator that wears glasses. I'm going to share a little live with you today about how you can launch your podcast without the tech stress, because I know that some of you are not as loving of the tech side of life, right? I love tech. People come to me for, how do you do this on a phone? When I'm in teaching in the office, it's how do I do this on Outlook? Like, I am that gal, and my degree is in sound. I have used I've used audio interfaces, the thing that you edit a podcast on, since I was self-taught at 14, 15, and was like mixing songs together for productions at school, stuff like that. And the same for editing video. AI doesn't freak me out in the sense of, let's make sure that no one steals our identity, but otherwise doesn't freak me out in terms of that. Schedulers, two-factor authentication is turned on everywhere. Just those little things. And for some people, that's real hard work. I know that tech is not people's favourite thing. You're like, what if I publish something wrong? What if something goes out and the music doesn't work the way it's meant to? What if I can't get rid of all my ums, ahs and stumbles, which I've addressed before in that they're not the end of the world there. So I'm going to talk about two things. One is a brand new for this season. It's an offer that I've got. An offer that will take all of the stress away for you from the tech. Most of it, at the very least. And otherwise will hold you through. And I'll also give you some tips if that doesn't suit you and you need to do it in a little bit more of your own way and to minimise the tech that you can do on your own. So I'm going to talk about the thing that I'm super excited for, because I've actually only got 2 spaces to begin this and make sure that it's ready. It's called the Winter Podcast Push. Now, if you were here back in summer, there was the Summer Podcast Push. And this was the very first version of what I'm going to talk about today, which was, it's summer. It's going to be quieter in general. People are on holidays. People aren't there for you in coaching, therapy. They are away. They're on holiday. They're cancelling sessions. They're delaying them. They're having a bit of a long break. And that, within your business, frees you up for more time. And we've got the same coming up for Christmas. Now, arguably, you might be just as busy with the Christmas period too, but it starts to wind down, doesn't it? In these times, people are going to be reaching out to you in the new year because everyone can kind of feels like they can hold on till Christmas. In some ways, people can need a little bit more support, but in general, people are busy with Christmas, distracted, just like summer. And so this program is designed to get you from the idea that you have had in your head for so long. I know that you will be the kind of person that is waking up in the morning, you're jumping in the shower, and as you're washing your hair, sorting yourself out, you get another idea for a great podcast episode. You're like, if only I could just share that, get it out there. I know what I want to do. And you're walking the dog, you're on a long dog walk, and all of these ideas are coming to you. Even the name of the podcast you've probably got, or you want to check that it's a good name, right? All of that is there and it's coming to you. Yet, you've had it on the vision board since the start of January. Last January, it was noted on there on New Year's Eve when you were planning my vision for the next year ahead. And we're now in November, 10 months into the year, and you're not quite there with it yet. It's still an idea in your mind. It's still a set of notes in your notes section. It's jotted down on a piece of paper, and you've got all these little things of I know I want to share it. I know I've got so much of my story to share, so much of my experience to share, but time and tech, it has continued to get pushed down the list. It has continued to be left. And this program that I have for you, the one that I run in summer, is going to take the tech and therefore a significant amount of the time away for you. Because when we work together for the Winter Podcast Push, I am going to guide you through each and every step with 4 one-to-one calls. And those calls go through the planning. So we talk about the name of the podcast, who it's for, what your episodes are about, so that we check what that's going to be for the first 5 episodes. And there's more ideas that are there, but we choose the best 5. You then go away and record them after our second call, because our second call is all about the production, using what you have access to already, which means you don't necessarily have to buy too much extra tech, if any at all. If you only have your phone to work with, we will work with that. Preferably, I'd like you to have a separate mic. It's not the end of the world. Some of you already have a mic and you don't know what to do with it. I will go through your setup. So, someone that I worked with over summer, Sharon, she was fabulous, absolutely adored working with her. A bit of a shame that we're not working together anymore, because her podcast is there. It exists. The Blue Light Diaries, if you want to go listen to it. It is for any professional that works within the emergency services, and the realities of the behind the scenes and all of the really difficult scenarios you have to deal with and unloading. And Sharon used to be in that space, and she moved out of it to be a therapist to these people who have gone through so much and maybe don't feel they've had the support within their workplace. And she now has a podcast. It's out there in the world, and we used her setup. So she uses Zoom. Zoom is not my preference. If you said to me, how do I record video? I'll say use your phone. Use something that's not your webcam. But if that's what you've got, and it creates a sense of ease, because using your phone is quality-wise better, but it requires more tech. And for Sharon, she was like, I just want a simple way to do this podcast. I'm not fussed by the quality of that video. Later on, maybe I'll change that opinion. But for now, I just want to get the podcast out there. I want it to be able to get the transcript, change it into a blog post, make an email, and have more and more content, and have something that people can listen to, something that I can direct people to. And that's what she's got. And she did all that without having to deal with the tech in the first instances. Only the tech that she already had, Zoom and a microphone. That was it. That's what we used for her. Now, you might have the exact same thing. You might choose to do that setup because you want the simplicity. You might also be like, I want a podcast like yours. I want the videos to look just that little bit more increased. And actually, there's ways we can do that on the computer too. But it is personalised to you. Yes, there's like a curriculum. Yes, there's something to follow. But ultimately, all of that tech is taken away, because once you have done your setup, once you've gone away and recorded at least episode 1 or the intro, I then edit your podcast for you. I will take it. I will edit it fully. So it's not a quick edit. So I often talk on here about quick editing. Quick editing is the strategy that I use to make my life easier in terms of editing. And I would love for Sharon and anyone else that comes through my programs to eventually use that technique. And that technique means not making mistakes as much as possible. Like this live, I don't know how many times I've not that many, I think you'll notice. I have no script. My laptop is there and it's open. My booklet is here, and that just says this week and then what we're doing for the next few fortnights, weekends time, i.e. the times we have children. There's nothing I'm using. But hopefully I sound eloquent enough and I'm conveying what I'm saying, probably speaking a tad too fast because that is my life, but you're getting the sense of it and you're talking without stumbling. And so the quick edit is when, if and when I stumbled, could be just then, you clap, and that makes it very easy to find in the edit. But when you're first starting, very, very unlikely you're going to be doing that. And so when I edit for you, I'm going to edit like I'd expect you to edit in the first few, which is you're going to listen back to the whole thing. And the reason for that is that you start to hear your ums, you start to hear annoying things that you do, not by my judgment, but by your own judgment. I am the biggest critic of myself when I listen back. There's this thing I do where it's like a tut, and I really wish I didn't do it. And I've had to get over it, if I'm honest, because it's part of my thinking. I'm always trying not to do it, but almost trying to do it so that you can see what it is. That it was just under there. It was very quiet. But you need to become aware of what you're like on camera, what you're like when you're talking. Now, in the first instance, I don't want you getting all caught up in your head about that. I want you recording an episode, doing it, moving on to the next one. And you can be self-reflective, of course. We love that kind of process. And then I will edit it, make it sound pretty, so you don't get caught up on the, I didn't say that quite right, or, why did I say so many times? Gosh, I've got to cut all this out. Like, no. When you're launching your podcast for someone that maybe doesn't love tech that much, a bit of a technophobe by your own admission, you just want to get on with recording it and getting the blooming thing out there. And that's where I come in, to take those episodes off your hands, the first 4, bearing in mind we're going to record 5, but the first 4, so that you don't have to think about it. And the reason that I do 4 is because there are going to be 3 that go out on launch, and then you've got another week's worth in the 4th episode. Yep. And then there's a 5th episode that you've recorded because you are going to practice editing that one once you've done everything else, and so that you can continue this cycle for yourself. So we then have, once I'm editing things, we then have a promotion call, the call that's going to help you to launch your podcast. We don't go for a really big promotion. We're not dealing with any PR. We're just talking about what posts are we going to put out for the week before to get people knowing that this is coming out, what we're going to release on the day, have we got clips, etc., to be able to use and get attention to the podcast. And then your final call is your follow-on call. That's the one where we set the plan for what your podcast is going to do next. What are the next bunch of episodes? How are we going to get these long-form pieces of content into short-form pieces of content that you can use to create a library? So now all of your content creation stress is heavily reduced because you have this library of little videos that you can schedule and have running, rolling, ongoing. And that's something that I know Charlotte, one of my other clients, is currently working on. She's really focusing in on using the AI tools and the setup and how to get that routine going for herself to make it work for her. As well as that, because I've got to tell you about it, as well as that, when I'm editing, I'm also creating the video assets for you. That's the little intro for YouTube and the outro, having just a little thing of your podcast come up. You're going to get your podcast cover art. By all means, you can step in and say, I've already got someone that does this in my team. I want to do it myself. I've just got this vision of what I want. You can give me direction. I can make it look like the vision you want. But I will create your cover art for you, give you a few options. And as part of it, you get your music too. And that might seem like a really small detail. And you can totally launch a podcast without music at all. But the realm of music for your podcast is quite scary. I think, to me, even, it's not the tech side that scares me about podcasting. It's the copyright side of life. So please don't use any music, popular music in particular, like anything in the charts right now. Do not use that in your podcast. You are opening yourself up to the potential for copyright. I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as legal advice. Always consult an expert lawyer in the field. But let's err on the side of caution and not use anything. There are a couple of websites out there that you can go to and use, but like understanding the licensing it feels like it should be straightforward, but it's not always. And so then what I do is I help coordinate that with someone that we have that makes you something. You're not choosing from a library and getting a license. You are still getting permission to use it in a particular license, but you're getting something that you can use that will last you a significant amount of time before you need to worry about paying again, because it is a license. Licenses always run out in some fashion, not entirely royalty free, but it's being paid for, so it's not royalty free at all. In that sense, you're paying for the license to use it up to a certain number of downloads, and then once you hit that, then you're due to potentially pay even more. But it gets sorted for you. You don't have to worry about it, and unless you already have a huge social media following, you're not going to need to worry about the number of downloads. So that is all thrown in as well, and I'll create them in a way that means that you can just plug and play when it's your turn to edit. You don't have to do all the fiddly bits with an intro and the music. I will put it all together for you so it sounds nice, looks nice, and you can just pop it in every time. There are ways that you can do more of like a Stephen Bartlett kind of intro, where you have the little clips. But again, that's for like a more technically advanced option. And some of you are not wanting to do that because you want it taken away. So that is the winter podcast, which is what Sharon worked through and now has that podcast that is out there. I know it got 100 downloads in its first few weeks. I don't know where we're at now. We're another month on, but I'm sure she's absolutely smashing it. And she's talking about the way that she converts it in her business. It's not all about the download numbers. Actually, the numbers can be quite low, but the podcast can do so much for you in terms of converting people. It's there as a resource for people to decide if they want to work with you. So 2 people that I recently had sign up to my mini course, both of them had spoken to me in the DMs, said they were interested, and then they either purchased or went away first and were like, I've listened to your podcast, I really want to get my podcast out there, you've given me the belief in myself to do it, XYZ. They're like, how do I pay? How much is it? They're asking me the questions, and that's the kind of energy that we want to get from ideal clients. People coming your way, not it feeling like it always has to be you putting content out there, almost sometimes feeling like you're dragging people along, kicking and screaming. It should never feel like that. Okay, sometimes it feels like we're just falling on deaf ears as well. That's the other one. Now, I did mention that there's options if you don't want to take part in the podcast, which I've only got 2 spots available for this. So if you want to do it in a simple tech way, then audio only, in the podcast push, we're going to go video, because video, if we can start with it, is best. But even in my podcast in a day course, I start people on audio only. We're going to go audio only. We're going to use our iPhones, and we're just going to use the voice memo app. Now, what you want to do for this is you want to head to the voice memo app and hit record, and then click the button on the side to turn the screen off so it disappears. What happens then is it's locked effectively. If you hit the button to the side there, you actually get a few menu options that mean that you can pause the recording and start it again. This is going to be vital to you. So if you are recording and you realise that you can't remember what you're going to say, you're going to light the phone up, hit pause, and you're going to check your notes. What this is doing is reducing your need to have to pull it into any kind of workspace, digital audio workstation, workspace, DAW, can't remember what it stands for. Anyways, any kind of software, and you don't then have to cut it. You're going to be able to take that file and just edit it as you go and pause as you go. And that is going to reduce the entire tech process for you in terms of then having an audio only podcast. That's the first stage. When it comes to video, there's no real workaround for that. But if you're launching an audio only podcast, use the Voice Memos app. You can actually, in fact, edit as you go as well. So when you hit pause and you light your phone back up, you can then take the edit back to the little stumble you just had, close it again, and start recording after that. It's like a little hack there in terms of making sure you get your podcast out there with simplicity and ease. As well as that, anything that you're going to do, head to Buzzsprout to upload. There are so many different places to upload. Spotify for podcasters is absolutely free. There's plenty of other podcast hosting platforms. Buzzsprout is free to begin with. They'll keep your episodes on there for the first 90 days as long as you don't exceed the uploads. And so this is great because it's very plug and play. I mean, they make it very easy. All of their guides are there for you to click buttons and just do as they say. When you're trying to get it onto Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., it's simplicity, so easy to do. And then you've got 90 days, 3 months worth of episodes, which should be 12 or so episodes by the time you've done them all. That makes you go, oh, I know how this works. I'm there. And all the guides are there. So that's the way to keep that simplicity for you. Just follow what they say. And you don't need to do anything fancy. Your audio only podcast is a good place to start. By episode 5, minimum, maximum, we want to have video coming in. It took me 18 episodes to get to video. 18. And the video made all the difference in terms of how you can use it if you're ready to leverage that on social media. There's going to be some AI tools that come in. I always reference Opus Clip. That is my best one. I should be getting a discount code for that. So watch this space or DM me if you can't see it somewhere on my profile. I need to follow up on that actually. But Opus Clip is going to make your life easier. You're not going to have to do too much tech. It's got a scheduler within it. So you can throw those things in there. So that's if you are doing this. Oh yeah, video podcasting when you get there. But from the start, some people aren't going to be okay on camera. And that's okay. Because we build our confidence with the audio part to begin with. Mine was audio only for 18 episodes. And it took, where did we get? We got to 50,000 downloads in 16 months. And then it was another 8 months on top of that we then got to 100,000 downloads. And don't get me wrong, the video was necessary for those bits there. But half a year's worth nearly of audio only didn't stop the podcast from becoming what it is. Lisa Johnson's podcast, which we edit, huge numbers, only ever been audio only. That, I mean, it's a testament to itself. There's another person that we've worked with, Lissy's Consciously Create podcast. She launched in, I reckon it was September now. I think she said she was on about 4,000 downloads. Hers is audio only. I have said, when's video coming in? But she's absolutely smashing it with the audio only podcast. Like, even I'm impressed by that. And I get what they're saying, the team there. If she had video, if Lisa Johnson had video, if Lissy had video, in my head, I'd be like, what could you do with that? That would be amazing to leverage even further. Hey, they're doing fantastic with audio only, but just imagine the power of having that video. So it adds a technical complexity. Start with audio, build your confidence in that, in talking for a lengthy amount of time. Focus on feeling confident in what you're talking about. Give yourself the drive and the passion for showing up consistently and get all of that in place. And then start bringing video in, which has its additional technical challenges and elements to it. But if you are interested in the winter podcast push, then drop me a DM with the words podcast push, and I will give you all of the details written out, answer any questions that you've got, and then you'll be in a position to decide if you want to apply or not, to see if you're one of those 3 people actually. I said it was 2, but I've definitely got 3 on other things. 3 people, because one person that I'm working with is not starting till February. But otherwise, 3 people, correcting myself, should have had notes in front of me. See? 3 people, 3 spaces available to take that tech away for you. It takes double the amount of time that an episode length is, or a recording is. So if your recording's 30 minutes, it takes at least an hour to edit it from start to finish and uploading, probably triple, especially when you're first starting. So just not only, you don't have to worry about the tech side of that to begin with, but think about how much time that saves on those 4 episodes. If they're about 20, 30 minutes long, you're saving hours, so you can focus on just being in front of camera, telling your story, getting it out there, and then you can learn the tech afterwards. Any questions, drop them below, or if you're interested, give me a DM, and I will be here with more lives to make podcasting simple and quick for you.